I'm a medical student in Nayar Hospital. My question is actually we are talking about the peace, but most of the human beings are not on the level of becoming human beings. They say that it is United Nation or United Kingdom, but actually the main problem is to increase the morality level or morality values of the people. They said that United Kingdom or United Nations, but how demons can bring the peace? It is important to increase the morality values and how to become a human beings. So what should be done for that to increase the morality level and to actually become a human beings, whether all the people in the society, most of the people are not on the level of becoming human beings. Now, what should be done for that?
Yes, thank you. I mean, you see, the whole philosophy of development now talks about progress and success and promote greed. So ultimately, it dehumanizes man, dehumanization of man. You talk about politics and political power, it's just mind. So the moral precepts is missing. Ethical considerations is missing. You are right. What do? I mean, those who believe in religion then should make sure their understanding of religion is not devoid of moral precepts. You know, when Mahatma Gandhi talks about economic being, the world is enough for every man's need, but not enough for every man's greed. And there's a moral precept there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because if you want to talk about racing for achievement, you can get as much as possible, then you can oppress the poor, you can neglect their housing, you can treat them, you know, like in shabby towns. So there is no moral precept there. So I think this is a challenge to us. Do we then just blame Americans and the British, you say United Kingdom, United Nations? No, you should also challenge our people. You know, India, with this long experience of cultures and religions and civilizations, should be able to do more. And I have been always pushing the Indians to do more. It's a great democracy. You must have the courage to tell and train and improve the livelihood of our people in India and in Asia in particular, if not the world. And I think it is important not to show that you have power to bully your neighbors. That's not never. Then there's immoral. Morality means to protect, to defend, to ensure there's justice and order. And this is in the great traditions of all religions and power. I mean, my little understanding even of Hinduism, of, you know, this whole dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. What is it? If it is not to compel us to at least understand the basic precept of morality. But it's missing sometimes. People use religion to be extremists, to be thinking that they have the might and to bully others. And to go against the very tenet and trait of peace and justice promoted by our religion.
Yes, sir. Because all are human. All human beings, not only human beings, but all animals and all the human beings also are part and parcel of God. So why should be there religions, something Hinduism and Muslimism and Christianism? There should be one and only one. But what is the solution for that? Why should in what respect we can bring them together and give them only one view or only one mantra, something that.
Okay.
That they will accumulate together and work together for humanity and for peace.
We have this huge culture and tradition and religion. The problem is not religion. The problem is how we are devoid of religious beliefs or obscured in our understanding. And if you say, never mind all religions, have just one, then there's a new religion. You're not solving, you're creating another problem. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So it's important to give whatever we can, have faith, and promote the right. Listen, understand. How is it, for example, like in India, how is it that there's no understanding of Islam by the Hindus, or no understanding of Hinduism by the Muslims? There must be an attempt to at least appreciate and understand, so that once you understand the positive tenets, then there's not too much of conflict. You know, if I come from a country where all are Muslims or all are Hindus, the problem is not as challenging. But as a Malaysian, I know, I come from a province called Penang. It's very multiracial, multireligious. Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, Confucianists, Hindus, Sikh, among others. And among the Christians, Methodist, Catholic, Presbyterian, Anglican. I mean, if you don't understand, you think all Indians are one, all Christians are one, then there is devoid of understanding. So understanding is important. I have been promoting this dialogue of civilizations very much. And the West must have institutions of learning to understand Islam. But Muslim countries must also have institutions to understand the rest. So it is must be a reciprocal effort of each understanding. But don't give the idea of let us now forget all religion, have a new mantra, new religion, and new fight.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, brother.
सर आपने बताया कि मुस्लिम एंड नॉन मुस्लिम
Can you put your question in English? Or can you can tell the question, I'll translate it.
माफ कीजिए
आप बोलिए शॉर्ट में कहिए क्वेश्चन आपका
सर.
I'll inshallah translate it.
प्रकाश कोठारी, मैं लीडिंग सोशल वर्कर हूं सर. और सर आपका स्वागत है हमारी बम्बई में. और आपने जो बताया सर कि मुस्लिम एंड नॉन मुस्लिम, मैं हिंदू हूं मगर ये मैं नहीं समझता हूं कि मैं नॉन मुस्लिम हूं. मैं अंजुमन में पढ़ा हूं, सैफी में पढ़ा हूं, मुझे कभी ये महसूस नहीं हो कि मैं हिंदू हूं. मुझे माफ करिए सर, मगर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं सर, आपके माध्यम से सर से ट्रांसलेट करके आप बताइए. ये सभी मेरे भाई यहां बैठे लर्नेड, वो भी जानेंगे. खुदा ने अपना खून में कोई फर्क नहीं किया है, खुदा ने पानी में कोई फर्क नहीं किया है. फिर ये हिंदू और मुस्लिम कौन सी भाषा है? जरा मुझे ब्रीफ में समझाइए सर. एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पे अपन बैठ नहीं सकते. मैं और आप एक ही जगह नहीं बैठ सकते. हमारी सरकार, हमारे नेता, हमारे सब आदमी हिंदू मुस्लिम करके झगड़े करते हैं, हमारे फायदे लेते क्यों? कृपया मुझे बताइए प्लीज.
He has just mentioned that I am a Hindu. I have studied in Muslim institutions. Why has God allowed these differences to come about of a Hindu and Muslim, and everyone's taking vested advantage of that? You would like to have your comments on that.
It is like Avarao, Hindu, Muslim, say Nasara. Remember the song? Now, when I hear this, apne hui paraye. Now, the problem is not with differences. Why are they religions? It is a fact. But it's for us to think and reflect. I mean, we are given capacity to think and reflect, to train and cleanse our heart and our soul, to be good, to be endearing. Why is it the problem? I mean, we should be just treat. I mean, as friends. Why can't we be friends? You know, I mean, we should be all those naraha. So I think your point about differences, about religious differences, it is a fact. But why is it that some people use religion for the good of mankind? I mean, you see, I have a Hindu neighbor. I mean, the Hindus have a problem in Malaysia. I appeared. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Malay. I went and appeared and support them because I thought they're having problems. Why can't we feel? You know why? Because I feel I have to be just. My religion teaches me to be just and fair to Muslims and non-Muslims alike.
I salute, sir. I salute.
Yes, sister.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mafnan Zia and I'm a student. What is the duty of Muslim Ummah to the prisoners of war like from Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay?
Well, Abu Ghraib is a case of gross injustice. Because to me, prisoners of war, you have to, Guantanamo Bay, any prisoner, you have to respect due process. You feel he's guilty, he's a terrorist, he has killed somebody, then put him, give him a chance to defend himself, You must respect the rule of law, have independent judiciary, and let the judge decide. You can't have politicians to decide, because you must respect the rule of law. Abu Ghraib prison is a case in point. You see how prejudices, because the hatred and prejudice against one religion have caused such a havoc throughout the world. And nobody can deny the fact. So we will have to have a morally coherent voice. What do? You must condemn this. Not because of the Americans, whether Americans in Guantanamo or our prison conditions in the Middle East or in Asia or in Burma, Myanmar. When the junta treat people, Aung San Suu Kyi and the rest of the Myanmaris, the way they are treating, we have to condemn them strongly. And we must be consistent in our views.
Yes, brother, you can put forward your question.
Is it right to put the blame on Muslims for 9/11?
It is wrong. Why do you blame Muslims for 9/11? Why do you blame Americans for attacking many countries?
So could you please prove it?
My brother, they can prove that some Muslims are involved. Fair. Must the entire Muslims be denigrated and condemned? We have many other instances. More crimes perpetrated by Christians against humanity. The Christians came and colonized half the world. Do you condemn Christianity as a religion? No. They must accept the fact. How many Mexicans and civilizations in Latin America were massacred and annihilated by the Spanish? Do you blame this Christianity? No. Look at the Spanish Inquisition. Muslims, Jews were just killed by hundreds and thousands in the Inquisition. Is that wrong? Yes, it was wrong. Do you condemn their action? Yes, you condemn their action. Do you continue to condemn the Christians until today? You can't. That's my point. I'm not defending the excesses. If there are Muslims who are perpetrators of the crime, we should also condemn them. But we shouldn't condemn all Muslims. But the fact, the hypocrisy, the nifaq, why we are annoyed is when the crimes committed by others, you don't attribute to Christian. In Northern Ireland, who killed each other? The groups IRA, Catholics and Protestants? Christians. Do we say Christian terrorists? You don't. When they come to Muslims, they become Muslim terrorists. So you actually have every Muslim is suspect. You have a full list of Muslims. You have a Muslim name, you go to Washington, watch out. You got to get extra security clearance. This is what we reject. What other proof do you want, my dear sister?